The 2010s saw some of the biggest contracts in Major League Baseball history being handed out to players, which is also strange because during free agency, it was a little bit slow for a couple years, but the players were still getting paid pretty well, and these contracts, they are absolutely huge. So I thought, let's go ahead and take a look back at the 12 biggest contracts that were given out during the 2010 decade, talk about the players, how they did, and at the end, if it ended up being a pretty decent contract. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, click that sub button, join the team. Remember to get in the comments down below. Give me your thoughts and opinions on which contract out of these 12 you thought was the best. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DraftNickMark. Links in the description. Also, shout out to the setup. This is probably going to be the last video you see here. You're watching this on Saturday, which means that I'm currently moving into my new apartment. New setup. We'll get a tour of everything coming at you soon. Now it's time to talk about some of them big money contracts. In January of 2012, Prince Fielder signed a 9-year, $214 million contract with the Detroit Tigers, which was the 12th biggest of the decade. Fielder's career in Detroit was short-lived. Only played 2 seasons there, 162 games in each, and he was a fairly good player with Detroit. Averaged 28 homers, 34 doubles, and 170 RBIs in his 2 seasons, a .295 batting average with a .387 on base, .491 slugging, gave him an OPS at .878. He was hitting really well in Detroit considering it's not a hitter's park. After the 2013 season, he was then traded to the Texas Rangers for Ian Kinsler, and only played in 42 games that following year due to neck surgery. His time with the Rangers, again, short-lived. He ended up retiring in 2016 due to injuries. He just couldn't come back healthy, couldn't be the player he once was, and his numbers in Texas really showed that. In his 3 seasons with Texas, he played in 289 games, hitting 34 homers, 52 doubles, and 158 RBIs, a .269 average with a .350 on base, .410 slugging, gave him a .760 OPS. He only ended up playing 5 seasons out of that 9-year contract, 2 of those with Detroit, 3 of those with Texas. Injuries shortened his career, but at the end of the day, this contract didn't look too great. The 11th biggest contract of the 2010s has to go to Clayton Kershaw with the Los Angeles Dodgers. A Dodger his entire career, he signed an extension in 2014 that got him paid. 7 years, $215 million, to which he ended up extending that contract again at the end of the 2019 season to the 2021 year. It's safe to say since 2014, Clayton Kershaw has still been pretty good. He won a Cy Young Award as well as an MVP. In those seasons, he's had a 2.27 ERA in 162 starts, pitching in over 1,000 innings, a 92-28 record, striking out almost 1,300 batters, walking only 184, a whip under 1 at .916, 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, less than 2 walks, less than a homer, 6.7 hits. Kershaw is the most dominant pitcher of this decade, and this contract, it fits. Yes, he may not be at the Cy Young level that he used to be, but he is still a very solid pitcher in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers spent their money well, and I have a feeling that Clayton Kershaw is going to be a Dodger for the rest of his life. Dude's a legend. Getting the top 10 started at the number 10 spot got David Price, who got a massive contract in 2016 from the Boston Red Sox. After a strong showing in 2015, splitting time between the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays, the Red Sox paid David Price in free agency with a big price. Didn't even mean to do that pun, by the way. He got a 7-year, $217 million contract, yes, more than Clayton Kershaw got, despite only having won 1 Cy Young in his career, and while he was a talented pitcher, it did feel like a bit of an overpay. In his 4 seasons with the Red Sox thus far, he's averaging about 25 starts per year, which is definitely underwhelming, a 3.84 ERA, a whip at 1.204, which was higher than his career average in the years prior. He struck out 609 batters in 588 innings, walking 156. His home runs are up, his walks are up, he is striking out a few more batters, but he's just not the same dominant pitcher that he once was, and because of that, you're seeing the Red Sox this offseason trying to move his contract any way possible. Those $30+ million he's getting every single season is handcuffing them big time. Not a great contract. In 2014, the Cincinnati Reds made Joey Votto rich. They gave him a 10-year contract extension worth $225 million, which at the time felt about right. You didn't think it was a terrible deal, but as we're getting towards the end of the contract and he still has about 5 years left, it's not looking too good. The first 4 seasons, it was looking great for Joey Votto, hitting 25 homers a year, still hitting 300, OPS approaching 1,000, Gold Glove defense. His play didn't decline, but the last 2 seasons of Joey Votto in 2018, 2019, he's been a completely different player, a shell of himself. Now he still has an OPS above 800, which is nice, but the power is completely gone. He's only hit 27 home runs in 287 games the last 2 seasons. He's completely lost his power. He's still walking a lot and getting on base, but he's not even hitting doubles anymore. He's averaging under 50 extra base hits a season. That's not Joey Votto standards, and when you're getting paid the kind of money that he is, and you have another 5 years left on that contract, in retrospect, it might have not been the best decision. Oh boy, at number 8, we got the Robinson Cano contract. The Seattle Mariners gave him a crazy one. 10 years, $240 million. After the great start to his career, the Seattle Mariners paid Robinson Cano big time in the 2014 offseason. A 10-year, $240 million contract, giving him $24 million a year. Now, Cano actually played fairly well with Seattle in the few seasons that he was there, averaging around 20 homers, 30 doubles, 80 RBIs a season. season, still hitting very high average, 296, 353 on base, 472 slugging, and 826 OPS. You can expect his power numbers to have gone down because he went from playing in Yankee Stadium, a very hitter-friendly park, to playing in Seattle, which is definitely more towards the pitchers, but still he had some really good seasons, and one of those seasons was cut short due to steroids. Well, now he's the Mets problem, and in 107 games last year, he wasn't good. Career lows in batting average, on base, slugging, OPS. He probably had the worst year of his career, and now the Mets are on the hook for the rest of that contract, owe him a lot of money. Even in Seattle, while playing well, he probably still didn't necessarily live up to that price tag, and you knew towards the end of that contract it was going to be a problem. You just can't continue to produce at such a high level at an older age. Cano is the 8th biggest contract of the 2010s. Another one that came back to bite them. At number 7, you've got the Albert Pujols contract, where the Angels paid him an insane amount of money for the time after he hit the free agent market with St. Louis. Now, let's not be too hard on the Angels. Albert Pujols was without a doubt the best player in baseball at the time. He had won 3 MVPs already. He was finishing second if he wasn't winning it. He was essentially the Mike Trout before Mike Trout was happening. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, there's nothing that said he should have been bad, but at the end of the day, the Angels still didn't give him a great contract. Like I said, 10 years, $240 million. Now, with the Angels, he started off pretty well. He hit 30 homers one season, was still hitting at a high level, but as the years have gone on, his OPS has gotten lower and lower. Hasn't had an OPS above 800 since that first season in 2012. He's averaging 26 homers, 26 doubles, and 93 RBIs a year, which just isn't Albert Pujols level. A 258 batting average with a 314 on base, 450 slugging gives him a career OPS with the Angels of 764. I think it's fairly obvious to say that Albert Pujols' contract has not paid off at all. He is not the same player he once was with St. Louis, and you expected that as he got older, but you didn't expect this kind of drop off. Which then leads us to another big contract for an aging player that isn't going to turn out great, and that's the Miguel Cabrera contract with the Detroit Tigers, who gave him an 8-year extension in 2016 at his 33-year-old season worth $247 million. Now, to be honest, Miguel Cabrera played really well in 2016. 38 homers, 108 RBIs, an OPS at 956, finished 9th in the MVP voting. He didn't really show any signs of slowing down just yet, but the next 3 seasons, they've been bad. He's been battling injuries a little bit more, barely played in 2018, and when he has been on the field, he doesn't look like the same player. The power, like Joey Votto, is completely gone. He's hit 31 home runs in 304 games. He's averaging 10 homers and 18 doubles a season, driving in 47 RBIs. That's not the same player we saw with Miguel Cabrera. He was a Triple Crown winner, and now he's a guy that's really not feared at all in the lineup. Plus, he's only a DH now. He's getting up there in age. He is definitely hurting the Tigers right now. Since he signed that extension, he's had a 286 batting average with a 362 on base, 460 slugging, and 822 OPS, but that is severely carried by that 2016 season, and he's only getting older as the years go on. Another contract where you look back and go, man, maybe not the best decision. So now we move into the top 5, and getting us started at number 5 is Nolan Arenado, who got an 8-year, $260 million contract extension last year with the Colorado Rockies, and recently has been rumored to be possibly being traded. Now, we only have 1 year to go off of for Nolan Arenado's contract, but I think it's safe to say that he's going to be worth the money that you pay him, because it's not like he's going into his 40-year-old season getting paid. He's still going to be pretty much in his prime for most of that contract. For his career, he averages 36 homers, 40 doubles, 115 RBIs a season, 295 batting average, 351 on base, 546 slugging to give him a career OPS at 897, and the first 2 seasons that he played, he wasn't much of a hitter, so those are hurting his numbers if anything. Gold Glove defense, he's an all-around beast. People like to bring up the Coors effect. He's still a better hitter away from home than Matt Chapman is in total for his career. Look up the numbers. Pretty much every single team in baseball is interested in trading for this guy. Absolute stud. It's too early to say yet whether or not the contract was right or wrong, but projection-wise and what you can see for the future, I don't see Nolan Arenado slowing down anytime soon. 2019 was a busy offseason because out of the top 5, 4 of them came from the past offseason. The next one at number 4 being Manny Machado, who got a 10-year, $300 million contract last year with the San Diego Padres. Machado hit the free agent market at age 26. You don't see that too often, and in those previous years, he's shown he's one of the top players in the league. Last year with San Diego was definitely a disappointing year, one of the weaker seasons he's had in recent times. Last year, he hit 32 homers with 21 doubles and 2 triples to give him 85 RBIs. Hit 256, which was a career low, 334 on base, 462 slugging to give him an OPS at under 800 at 796. Definitely a disappointing year, but there were some signs that showed Manny Machado is not yet done, and he's only 27 years old. Get him with a better lineup around him. He's going to get less pressure there. He's going to get more comfortable in San Diego. I think that he is going to end up being just fine out there. I had no problem with this contract, and I don't think it's going to be a problem further down the line. He's still going to be able to field, still going to be able to hit. It's a lot of money, but I think Machado is going to end up being worth it. At number 3, got one of the most interesting contracts given out in the 2010s. That's the Giancarlo Stanton deal that he signed with the Miami Marlins, where they gave him an extension back in 2015 of 13 years, $325 million. Absolutely insane. Now, Giancarlo Stanton has the talent. He definitely can be a star player. I mean, we saw him win the MVP in 2017 with a monster year, but the biggest issue with Giancarlo has always been staying healthy and consistency, and he showed those problems again in 2019 where he only played in 18 games. Now, credit to the Marlins, they ended up trading him, got rid of that insane contract, but they also didn't get much back for him, so it wasn't really that great. Stanton is now the Yankees' problem, and I say problem with big quotation marks because when he's playing, he's going to be very good. It's just that he does handcuff you from a payroll standpoint. Since 2015 with the Marlins and the Yankees, he's averaging 31 homers a year with 20 doubles and 77 RBIs, playing in only 106 games a year, hitting 266 with a 352 on base, 555 slugging, to give him an OPS at 907. The big thing for Giancarlo Stanton is you need to see consistency out of him. You need to see him be on the field more. 106 games a year getting paid, you know, $25 million a year. That's not good enough. Down to the final two. We saw this guy break the record last year for the biggest free agent contract ever. That's Bryce Harper signing a 13-year, $330 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. Similar to Machado, hit the free agent market at only 26 years of age. He's won an MVP, won it at age 22, Rookie of the Year at age 19. Everyone knows how good Bryce Harper is. The hype has been around this kid since he was in diapers. And I gotta say, in Philadelphia, despite a slow start, he ended up with a really solid season. 35 homers, 36 doubles, 114 RBIs, and he stole 15 bases. Hit 260 with a 372 on base, 510 slugging to give him an OPS at 882. Played really good defense out in right field, improved vastly on the prior year. I like to give Philly fans and Bryce Harper a hard time, but at the end of the day, he really is a good player. And while 13 years, $330 million is a lot of money, Bryce Harper is one of the few guys that I think you could get away with giving it to, because at age 26 when the contract starts, you're pretty much guaranteed he's going to end up a Philly, and probably for about 8 of those years, you're going to be getting him at his absolute best. So I don't think this is a bad contract, actually. Which leads us to the number one spot. And fittingly, it goes to Mike Trout, the best player in the league without a doubt. I say this in every video, but he'll probably go down as one of the best players of all time, and he got paid like it. Last year, the Angels gave him a 12-year, $430 million contract extension, which will guarantee that he retires as an Angel unless they decide to trade him, which you're not doing. This is the first $400 million contract in Major League Baseball, an average salary of about $36 million a year, and I can say without a doubt that he is worth it, and he is going to be worth it. This contract is not going to be a problem at all. If there's anybody in baseball who deserves to get $36 million a year, it's Mike Trout. In his 9 years in Major League Baseball, he's won 3 MVPs, finished inside the top 5 of MVP voting every single season that he's been a main player. He won the MVP last year after getting the big contract, so definitely no signs of him like slowing down because he's no longer motivated to get paid. Averages 35 homers, 30 doubles, and 6 triples a year, right around 100 RBIs, stealing 24 bases, 308 batting average, 422 on base, 587 slugging, and OPS above 1,000 for his average. That is absolutely disgusting. These are like Barry Bonds type numbers, and he's not cheating. Like, Mike Trout is on another level. He is playing a video game. His numbers aren't real, and he does it every single season while being a beast out in center field. Some of the best range out there. Mike Trout is an absolute stud. The $430 million is well spent by the Los Angeles Angels. Can't wait to see what him and Anthony Rendon do in that lineup next year. Trout is so worth the money. So those are the 12 biggest contracts of the 2010 decade. I'd love to know which one you think is going to end up being the best, which one you think is going to end up being the worst, down in the comment section below. I think it's a nice way to look back at just what was going on money-wise in baseball for this decade, because let's be honest, we really haven't seen money like this ever before in baseball, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger as the sport grows and as the money and revenue keeps going up. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see me do more of this kind of stuff on the channel, maybe like the 10 best home run hitters of the decade or something like that, make sure to leave a like as well as tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. If you like baseball content, click that sub button, join the team. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNickMark. Links in the description. I'm always talking baseball over there. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I do appreciate you. Last one most likely in the setup. Maybe a random video here and there, but yeah, we're gonna be in the new apartment as of today. Excited to keep on making videos for you. Excited to keep grinding for 2020. I hope you did enjoy it. You guys know the drill. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.